So let's start with how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a good space today, I would say. I plant a seed and then, you wait for it to grow, and then once it grows, then it kind of gets to this place where by the time it's exciting for everybody else, I've already like kind of built up the excitement towards it, or I've already like gone through the process behind the scenes that people don't see. So for me, it's like, okay, like I finally get to be in the thing now, and it's like really exciting, but it's also like very overwhelming. And then there's the ending of it where at the end of it, I still have to like go back to my regular life and like, go work the job that I don't necessarily want to work, or figure out how I'm going to like survive financially over the next couple months. So I think it's like it's I'm in a weird space. I think the reason why I'm processing is because my career on the outside looks super grand because of my talent and because of all the opportunities that it's been bringing me, but like in the reality of it is that I'm still here, in the same place that I had started in, like trying to figure things out. There's a lot of overthinking going on for me. And overanalyzing and like just unlearning like things that I got used to over the past couple years, like ways that I like either did or did not communicate, or like just understanding like how trauma affected me, I guess you could say, and like we're just processing that because there was moments when I didn't really like see myself as someone who was deeply affected by it until as of recent. And just yeah, I think the best thing I know how to describe, I guess, like the process for me is just really just like literally over like sitting down and overthinking everything and trying to just figure out like what can I actually do to make change in my life, or what can I do to find fulfillment, I guess you could say, because that's something I haven't felt for a really long time, like genuine fulfillment, at least not at a consistent basis. So um over the last little while I've just been thinking about how I can make change, and trying to focus on like what do I actually enjoy doing, and just doing more of that than doing what I feel like I need to do in order to like sustain whatever life it is that I've been living. And I'm kind of stuck in this weird space where I feel obligated to continue because it's almost like because I made it this far, I've like unintentionally made promises to like all my fans and the people who have been listening, people who have believed in me and whatever. And so it's like even if I'm not happy, I can't take myself out of this space yet, at least. So it's just been like really difficult for me to try to, I guess, maneuver through that. And at some points, there's some moments that I do enjoy. I meet people, and sometimes like it's really great to be around them, but like other artists or management or whoever. But there are like a lot of moments where I'm just like, I can't wait to like be out of this world without having to go back to suffering. So that's also part of the processing. It's like how do I exit without having to start from the ground up. So yeah, I have been just kind of like living in as many moments as I can as of late. Like I've been traveling a lot, either for leisure or for work, like work in music. And every time I get a moment to just kind of stop and breathe and like really take in my surroundings, I've been finding pleasure in just like that. Like that brings me a sense of fulfillment. And then I also love to like document it so that I have something to look back on to be like, I remember when I was in that moment and how it felt. That's been the thing that's really been like bringing me joy lately. And then connecting with other artists and creatives who are sitting in the same space as me. I think that's also brought me joy because then it's always good to feel like, you're not alone in that space. Um yeah, I would say like those are the main two things right now that have been making me happy. There was a period of time where I was like, it was kind of like a balance where it was like, okay, like I'm getting fulfillment from this, but I think now I don't even think I think I know for sure now it's mainly for other people. Every time I've spoken up, I haven't been taken serious. People have kind of been looking at me left or crazy, like, what do you mean you don't want to do this anymore? Or what do you mean, like, you're too talented? Or like that's usually the response that I get, which I understand. But um, and I kind of just something that I've learned in, like, that I'm trying to unlearn is, like, my people-pleasing tendencies, where as soon as I feel like I'm disappointing somebody, it, like, sets off an alarm internally, then I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I can't do that." So then I, like, shut down and I just do whatever it is they want me to do. And then I just basically wait for it to be over, essentially. It's like a super, even when I talk about it now, it's just like a super sad reality for me, but, it's kind of, again, I have to take accountability for it because I allowed myself to get this far, so something that I kinda have to just push through until, um, at least, like, a sustainable, like, or, stable life is set in stone for me myself. I don't think I've had a day where I wasn't, um, like, in fear. I've just been, I know how to, like, turn off that, like, on my face, I guess you could say, so that people don't know that, but every day I wake up and it's just anxiety. It's just like, "How am I gonna do this?" But I gotta push through the day. I have to go to work. I gotta do what I gotta do, I have to sometimes I have to pretend like I'm happy about, making music. I think also something else to add is, like, when I do get on stage and I perform in front of a genuine crowd that's, like, listening and paying attention and, like, really feeling what I'm saying and, like, listening to the music for real, that also makes me extremely happy because then it makes it feel like all of this that I'm, like, pushing through that I don't necessarily want to do or find fulfillment in anymore, like, it makes it worth it, It helps me to get through it a little easier whenever I have those moments, which is not often, surprisingly enough. The actual singing part is, like, it's easy for me, but it hasn't been easy because of the process, yeah, so it's definitely, I can acknowledge for sure it's the process, but I think that's what makes me, like, it's taking away from the joy of singing, like, I don't even want to sing anymore because I know as soon as I open up my mouth, like, it comes with a bag of things that I didn't ask for, It can't just simply be me singing, like, I have days where I wish I could sit down and just record a song and put it out and just, like, sit down with the people who are listening to it and not physically, but just, like, in some way and talk about, like, how it made them feel and, like, experiencing it or whatever, and then go stand on stage somewhere. Like, I wish it was that easy, and then perform it live and get to experience them in person, but it's always with this industry, there's always something. There's always a bag of things that you have to do in order for it to go, And it never actually goes anywhere. I think that's the craziest part about it. All the things that they expect me to do, it never actually does what they think it's gonna do. So that's super frustrating to, like, regardless of the experience, to be told that I have to do it anyway. And maybe that's the fear. I don't know, maybe that's the fear that's keeping me from actually doing that, is, like, thinking, like, well, since there's this mentality around me, for the majority of people around me think that this is the way that things need to be. If I try to do it from the purest place, it's not gonna work. Like, I have this fear that, like, maybe they're right, you know what I mean? And maybe that means that I just shouldn't be here. That's what my brain always resorts to. People always often ask me, like, can I show them how I, like, create or what my process is? And I'm just like, I'm not calculated in that way when it comes to, like, me, picking up the camera to shoot something. It's just the way that my eyes and my mind is set up. Like, I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, like, I really love the way this, like, it could be something simple, like just like a house with, like, a window, and just the way that it looks to me is it touches on a certain emotion inside of me that makes me feel a certain way, and I want to capture it exactly the way that I'm seeing it, and just share that. Um, and I've always been that way from since I was young. Even before I even knew how to use a camera, I've always seen things in that way. I think once I learned that I can capture it and, like, hold on to it for a longer period of time, then that's when I started really, like, shooting things and learning how to, like, edit it and do different techniques to make it feel just as emotional as it feels for me inside. Same thing with my music, like, I know how to write a song and sing it, exactly the way that it feels when I'm going through the thing or when I'm experiencing the thing or seeing the thing. Um, yeah, it's just always been, like, a supernatural thing for me. It's something that I don't have to think about, like, ever. I just do. Right now, literally, this is gonna sound so funny, but I've literally just been uh watching YouTube a lot. Like, and mainly, like, vloggers, but not just, like, the "Hey, welcome back to my channel" vloggers, like the ones that literally make everything look like a short film. So they document like, when they're making coffee, and then, like kind of like the way that they set up the camera in certain angles, and it literally looks like a short film of their life, like a day in their life. I don't know why. I think that touches on like the way that I love to capture life and just things in general. Um, that has been super inspiring for me. I'm watching a lot of even just like content creators who create like who are photographers and videographers who have YouTube channels as well, who like kind of document the process like behind the scenes of what it looks like for them to do the work that they do. That has been mad inspiring for me. I actually have a plan in mind that I want to execute before the end of this year, where basically I go out and let's say I'm in the middle of a forest, and I take a picture of like, the moment that I'm seeing, and then I want to put a score behind it where I record like the area that I'm in, so that you can actually, when you're standing and looking at the photo, it feels like you're there. But then there's also like different sonics and sounds like with my voice, or like with like synths or keys or something in the background that like elevates it and brings it to life a little bit more. And I want to curate an exhibit around that. I've actually tried to do things like this before and literally have been shut down. So I think it's become even an even bigger fear. It's like, okay, like I wanna, and it's happened on multiple occasions, like over different years. So I think now I've gone into like this avoidance space where I'm just trying to avoid having to deal with that. Because I know I'm not gonna be able to avoid it. It's there, but like I don't want to deal with it. So, so I think that's what's keeping me stagnant. It's what's keeping me like in this space. And then again, worrying about having to like go back to struggling, because everything that is supporting me, if I just keep saying fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want. I mean, who's to say that this thing won't land me in a place where I can finally be comfortable? But I think I'm just afraid that it won't. Like something in the back of my mind is like, they're gonna be right, and I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna end up failing, and then I'm gonna be stuck back in the same place that I wasn't before. And then just hearing a bunch of people telling me like, I told you so, I told you so. So I think that's my trauma. That's what I'm trying to get out of. That's the space that I'm in right now, where I'm trying to unlearn like that mentality. But because I deep down, like I know, not even deep down, it's like right there, I know that I can do it. I know that I can do it whenever I want to. I also know what it comes with. So that's the thing that's been stopping me, I guess. I think I'm in like a reset space. But I think the fear is me like being like, okay, I reset everything now. And now I'm like, I'm okay. Like there's something that I've been saying over the past couple of weeks is like, I'm actually really good. Like I don't have any ill feeling towards anything. I'm not upset. I don't really feel like a heavy amount of sadness. Only when I like process like how much I've been through do I feel that way. But right now I feel good. I think it's just like the next step that I take. I'm treading really lightly. Like I just want to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes that I did before. So that's why I've entered into this like processing. Like it's like a buffering mode before I do anything. So it's like I step forward, but then I'm like, is this right? And I observe everything before I like put my foot down. So that's kind of like where I'm at now. So I know exactly what I need to do. I know why I want to do it that way. I think I'm just trying to make sure that I have everything planned out properly, because that's something that I never did before. I kind of just was taking all the leaps, believing what people were saying, like just doing what everybody wanted me to do, without thinking, without asking questions, without thinking about myself. Like I was literally just doing whatever it was I thought was right. And I'm like, I'm over doing that now. Again, I'm tired. So I'm like, how can I pour back into myself, and like how can I find like maintain fulfillment, not even find fulfillment because I found it.